And
I ain't got much of that.
what's up with all the tattoos, man? What's going on? You
Mm,
got.
you want to know the truth?
Yes, I want to know the truth.
All right, brother.
Okay,
I got tired of my face, man. I had that face for 28 years. I wanted a new face.
so that's the new name, New Face, not Blueface.
Crip face.
Listen to this quote from Blueface right after he got out of jail, trying to explain all the tattoos. I got tired of my face, man. I had that face for 28 years. I wanted a new face. That is a wild statement because he stepped out of prison looking and acting like a completely different person, and the internet noticed instantly. This isn't just regular celebrity drama. We're talking about a bizarre face full of random logos, a creepy soulless stare, a completely different quiet voice, and a whole new subdued energy. Everything about him feels completely off, like something major happened to him while he was locked up. Now this dramatic transformation immediately brings up Katt Williams' explosive warnings about humiliation rituals. The whole idea that the industry deliberately targets certain individuals to break them down, remake them into a compliant puppet, and send them back out with a visual mark of ownership. Katt has been warning for years that these are tactics of control. Some people might argue Blueface isn't that big a star for the Illuminati or industry elites to waste a ritual on. But see, that's where you might miss the core point. Katt warns that the celebrity isn't the primary target. The dramatic transformation is meant to send a message to every other artist who is watching. We own you, and this is what happens when we brand you. So are people reaching with this humiliation ritual theory? Or did Blueface just fall victim to a calculated move of spiritual breaking? We're about to break down exactly what happened, why the change is so dramatic, and how this whole situation aligns perfectly with the warnings Katt Williams has been dropping about Hollywood's dark side for years. Alright, let's get the quick rundown of the timeline here. Blueface goes into jail looking like, well, the old Blueface. Same cocky attitude, same face, same non-stop celebrity drama. He was the same loud, controversial artist the public knew. Then, a few months go by, and the first photo leaks from inside. At that point, people were saying he looked different, mostly speculating that he just gained some weight behind bars, and maybe that was the main reason for the change in his appearance. But fast forward to his official release on November 3rd, and the moment Blueface starts posting photos and videos, the entire internet stops. He was showing off a face absolutely covered in this bizarre, confusing grid of tattoos. And when I say bizarre, I mean this is not typical prison ink. It's random and nonsensical. This man has random corporate and sports logos slapped across his forehead, cheeks, and jawline. We're talking logos for Chase Bank, Walgreens, MLB, YSL. It doesn't even make any logical sense, and they look intentionally ugly like a parody of a face tattoo. But it's not just the random branding on his skin. People are saying the change is deep, almost spiritual. When you look at his eyes now, they look flat, almost vacant, like they've lost the spark and energy they used to have. His entire demeanor is different too. He's moving different, carrying himself different, even dressing different. He's subdued, quiet, and doesn't have that loud, chaotic confidence he was known for. Yeah, he obviously gained weight, but the consensus is that it's the energy shift and the branding that tells the real story. This massive visual change demands an explanation, which leads us directly to the first major theory. The first, and honestly the most straightforward theory floating around to explain those bizarre logos is that Blueface was forced into getting all those face tags by prison gang members. This is a dark but sadly common practice inside the walls. If you owe a debt, lose a fight, or just end up as a target, inmates will often use humiliation tactics like forcing bizarre, non-gang related tattoos purely for their entertainment or to assert dominance. The speculation here is that they didn't have any specific reason other than their own entertainment and asserting complete control over a famous loud rapper. These tattoos are random and ugly precisely because they were meant to be a permanent degrading mark, a badge of humiliation that he has to wear forever in the public eye. And here's the really messed up part of the theory. Blueface probably agreed to this bizarre branding as a grim trade-off. People are speculating that he clearly didn't want to become someone else's permanent victim or prison wife, and so he took the public humiliation and the bizarre tattoos as a way to literally save his behind and avoid a far worse fate. It's the most logical, grim explanation for why he has a Walgreens logo stamped on his face. However, once you introduce the outside context, this theory shifts completely. While the trauma happened in prison, Katt Williams has been warning for years that isolation and forced humiliation are exactly what the industry uses to break a spirit. It makes you wonder, was the prison gang simply executing a ritual that the outside world planned? So you remember how Katt Williams used to talk constantly about the dress ritual, where actors and comedians are allegedly forced to wear a dress on screen or in public? Well, most people completely miss the whole point of that talk. According to Katt, it was never really about the outfit itself, it was about the power dynamic and what that act represents. Katt made it clear that the act of wearing the dress is a mandatory sign of submission. It's the industry telling you, you will do what we tell you to do, no matter how ridiculous or humiliating it is. The ritual works because it breaks your will and proves that you value success and fame over your own dignity and spirit, showing you're willing to follow the rules. Katt dropped the most powerful proof that this ritual is real when he dared anyone to prove him wrong. He challenged the entire industry. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. The undeniable success that often follows the act of submission proves, according to Katt, that these rituals are not coincidence. They are non-negotiable conditions for advancement. Now draw the line directly to Blueface. If the dress is a sign of submission and public humiliation, what is a permanent face full of intentionally ugly, nonsensical corporate logos? It's the exact same thing, just tattooed permanently onto his skin. The tattoos could be his mandatory public dress, a visible permanent mark that signals to the world and to the industry insiders that his spirit has been broken and he is now owned and branded. But Katt's theories don't stop at just humiliation. He also links these strange tactics to something much darker, connecting the control tactics to the occult.
I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender. And so I knew that in the ritual of Baphomet, the transgender, to show allegiance to him, you had to kiss his ring. Both of those things. So I knew that both of those things would become popular in the future. Somehow calling people the goat would be normalized over the sheep being always the most popular reference.
Katt Williams wasn't just talking about people wearing clothes. He claimed that these weird outfits, tattoo branding, public humiliation, and manufactured drama are all connected to what he alleges is Baphomet worship by the industry elites. This is where the conspiracy goes deep into the occult. Katt gave a specific example, saying he knew years ago that certain social trends would become popular, not because he was a prophet, but because the information was secular. He explained that the earliest he had ever seen the word transgender was in reference to Baphomet, the transgender deity. He predicted that to show allegiance in the ritual, one had to kiss the deity's ring, and that both the themes of Baphomet and submission would become normalized in the future. He even pointed to the normalization of calling people the goat over the traditional sheep reference, linking it all back to Baphomet, the goat-headed figure. Now, whether you buy into this deep Baphomet theory or not, the underlying point remains chillingly the same. The entertainment industry is a dark place run by extremely shady people, whose only goal is, as Kanye West bluntly put it, to control, traumatize, and monetize. They want to break the spirit so they can manage the asset. Katt's entire message is that the trauma and humiliation tactics, the dresses, the embarrassing roles, the nonsensical visual changes like Blueface's corporate logos are all designed to break the individual spirit. The ultimate goal isn't just to make money, it's to force a permanent, painful submission that ensures their control is absolute. The reason this theory hits so hard is that there's a clear, calculated strategy behind it. The goal is to take a celebrity who is already unstable, already messy, already controversial like Blueface, and push them right to the edge, but not enough to destroy them completely. You push them just enough to break their spirit, and then you isolate them. And nothing makes a celebrity more vulnerable or isolated than the inside of a prison. When Blueface walked into prison, he was loud, cocky, and completely unbothered by the consequences of his actions. But when he walked out, people swore they saw a man who had been spiritually and psychologically broken down. He looked like an empty shell of his former self, and this isn't the first time the public has seen this happen. Think back to Gucci Mane. His entire vibe changed so dramatically after his release that the cloned Gucci theory became a massive conspiracy. The logic is the same. The system takes an unstable person, subjects them to trauma and isolation, and forces a permanent change to gain control. The footage of Blueface right after his release is the most telling proof of this shift. You can see him trying to offer this strange, subdued apology, claiming he took a couple classes in there, including Civilization University. That complete sudden compliance and the loss of his rebellious fire is exactly what Katt Williams warned about. Something cracked inside, and the whole frequency of the man changed. But if this was a planned ritual, why those specific bizarre logos? This leads us to the final, deep-cut theory. If this transformation was truly a ritual, why those specific logos? Chase, Walgreens, MLB. This is where the conspiracy level goes to maximum. The theory suggests that those logos aren't random at all. They're coded messages to the industry insiders. Every time a celebrity enters a humiliation phase or a breakdown era, there's always some bizarre, highly visible physical change that makes no sense to the public, but is apparently perfect sense behind the curtain. Think about the undeniable pattern: Britney Spears suddenly shaving her head, Kanye West adopting the permanent grills, Orlando Brown making bizarre public declarations, and now Blueface steps out of prison with permanent corporate face logos. That's not a coincidence. That's the kind of thing that makes you think something is deliberately being signaled to those in power. Some of the deeper conspiracy folks even claim that each symbol on Blueface's face is a reference not to brands, but to specific stages in the ritual he was forced to undergo while isolated. It's a way for them to announce publicly, but in code, that the asset has been processed and is now compliant and owned. Now who knows, maybe it's not that deep. Maybe Blueface just lost a fight and other inmates did this to him for a laugh. Or maybe, as he and his manager claim, that it's a way for him to represent where he is from and act as social experimentation. Or maybe he did agree to the tattoos to avoid worse abuse. But whether you believe it was a prison fight or a complex industry ritual, the effect is exactly the same. Blueface looks and acts like a completely different person. You simply can't look at him and say, this is the same man who walked in. Something cracked and the whole frequency of the celebrity was intentionally changed. So where does that leave us? We have two core theories about the dramatic transformation of Blueface. One side says prison is brutal. He was loud, he was controversial, he lost a fight, and he was forced into getting bizarre corporate tattoos to save himself from worse. The change in his eyes and energy is just trauma and reality hitting him hard, and he's clearly a humbled man. The other side says this is a ritualistic branding. It aligns perfectly with Katt Williams' warnings about submission, ownership, and the dark forces controlling the entertainment industry. Whether the trauma happened in Hollywood or in the prison industrial complex, the logic is the same: break the spirit, mark the asset, and send a message of absolute control. As Katt Williams himself warned, the system is the system. Power is power. If the industry wants to humble you, remake you, or send a message through you, they will do it in a way the whole world can clearly see. Blueface is now wearing that message permanently on his face. So what do you think? Are people reading too much into it with all this humiliation ritual talk? Is this just a tragic result of Blueface getting into it with other inmates? Or is there truly something deeper going on? A forced branding, a ritual, or a cold warning being sent by breaking down these celebrities one by one? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are we just overreacting, or is there something way bigger than Blueface's new look? Let me know what you think. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. We're very close to 1,000 subs and can't thank you guys enough. Catch y'all in the next video.